It is so warm in here. It's like winter outside, and in this greenhouse it's over 80 degrees right now. I did not dress appropriately for seed starting. What is up, guys? Thank you for all your well wishes while I was not feeling well. Kind of at that point of feeling slightly Lazarus-esque after having been in the fog of sickness for the last several days, and I'm just coming out of it. And today I am planting some seeds because that's something that I can do while seated. I thought yesterday I might go work in the high tunnel some, and that was hilarious. I walked out there, that's as far as I got. And I'm feeling better today, but I'm gonna try to take it easy, and this is something I can do that is easy. Today is January the 13th, and I am starting seeds out here in my window greenhouse. I've been sick the last week. There was a lot of speculation about what it could have been, and we are going ahead and doing the 10-day quarantine just to be on the safe side. I definitely felt really bad. I'm doing a lot better, as you can tell. I'm still a little bit like hazy and trying not to overdo it. I'm like the queen of overdoing it when I'm not feeling well and not taking care of my body the way that I should. And so Jeremiah's he's been on me pretty well to stay resting this week, and I told him, I was like, I need to go get my hands in the soil. So I'm sitting out here, might take a little walk around, but I am going to take it easy today. I really wanted to plant my onion sets, but that is going to have to wait for another day. So, middle of January, I'm starting these plants out here. Everything that I'm starting today, I've already started some dazzling blue kale. It's called Bilko. It's an F1 Chinese cabbage. We really have enjoyed the Chinese cabbage that we grew in the high tunnel this fall, and so I'm hoping to plant another row of that for the spring. We've eaten a lot of it just fried in a pan, making kind of like an Asian slaw type thing. We'll do like a teriyaki beef or something, and then we'll do that Asian slaw, and even the kids love it. So more of that. Purple peacock broccoli. Look at that beautiful package from Hudson Valley. They do such pretty art on theirs. And then some Casper kale, which is a kind of variegated looking kale, which, you know, I love all the variegated things. And I'm trying to decide what else to start in these spots. I have several things. I don't think I'm going to get to this today, but one of the things I'm going to do is to direct sow some salad greens just in the bed back there in the high tunnel, as well as direct sowing more carrots, some arugula, and then I'm starting some lettuces here inside the greenhouse. Just a few different kinds I brought out here, like Amish deer tongue lettuce, Ice Queen summer crisp lettuce, and red fire leaf lettuce. Now, really quick, because some people might not realize this, if you get a package like this is just like a free package that came with my botanical interests order, and it's a mesclun mix of lettuce. Now, this package, what this is, I mean, it's got the picture on there. It's like just several different kinds of lettuce that's mixed together in this mesclun mix. With this particular mix, if I took these seeds and started them individually, like in these little cells, and then grew them 12 inches apart from one another where they had ample space to fill out, this would produce like probably heads or butter crunch heads, you know, like loose heads. I don't know what kinds they are. It looks like one of them's a romaine and some different heading lettuce. These would grow into like full-size leaf lettuces. But if I sowed them close together the way that the directions on this package are going to tell me to, because it's a mesclun mix, it's for like baby greens, I'm going to harvest them when they're really small, and they're not going to get real big because they're super close together. But with all of these packages of lettuces, I could do the same thing. I can sow them further apart and get heads, or I could sow all of these close together and harvest them like baby greens. So sometimes what I'll do with like a mesclun mix like this is I will sow them really thick in a spot in the garden bed. And when the plants are like this big and I'm starting to harvest the leaves, I'll just pluck up a handful of those plants out of that area and go spread them out and just transplant them like you would just like a little transplant. And then that way I'll end up with head lettuce later from those plants, and then the rest of those that were sown close together, I'll just harvest those young for baby greens. If any of you did my soil bag salad trick and you've got like a soil bag of baby greens growing right now through the winter, when it comes up closer to spring, I mean here soon, whenever you know you're coming up on the end of your frosty days, you can just pull some of those plants out of that and transplant them out and grow them into full-size heads of lettuce. I've got those I'm gonna direct sow. I don't think I'm gonna get back there and do it today. And then I'll also have this Italia Romanesco broccoli. I've always wanted to grow this and I never have. I don't know why. I've tried a few times, but sometimes for me, trying to grow things in fall or in spring can be just such a gamble because our weather is so unpredictable, and like a lot of times it gets really warm soon in spring. So I'm going to give it another shot, and hopefully with the regulation of the high tunnel, I'll be able to actually have success with this. So I've actually just filled all of these little pots up with seeds, and I've not written anything down. I want to give you guys a little tip. It is best, if at all possible, when you plant things, to go ahead and make some sort of record of it right then, whenever you can still remember what you planted. But you might not have a marker, you might not have a way to write it down in that moment, but most likely you have a phone in your pocket. And one of the things that I do often in a situation like this is I pull my phone out and I make a video. And I'll literally just start the video and say to myself, these 3 cells are Casper kale, these 3 cells are purple peacock broccoli, these 2 rows are Bilko Chinese cabbage, up here I have dazzling blue kale, and then Romanesco Italia broccoli. That's not very fancy, but it has saved me from guessing what's in my garden so many times, because frankly when my hands are really dirty and my markers or whatever, like I actually have a marker right here and I probably have something I could write on down here, but a lot of times I don't. If it's back up in the house, I just won't do it, and then I'll be wondering from then on out, you know, those seeds will come up and I won't know what's what. And especially when you're seed starting, you want to know what you're starting, because you're going to have to put it out in the garden and you don't want to have to be guessing the entire time what it is that you've planted. So making videos of things like that has saved me many times from guessing later on. So this is absolutely new to me, what I'm about to do. I have never grown celery before. I'm not sure why. It's one of those things that I always intend to, but it's supposed to be started 8 to 12 weeks before your last frost date. And usually 8 to 12 weeks before my last frost date, I am thinking brassicas. I'm not thinking about this sort of thing, and then it'll come down to it and I'll realize that I've missed the window and whatever. I don't know. Why do we not do new things? Because we talk ourselves out of them. For whatever reason, doing new things can be intimidating. So this is the Chinese pink celery from Baker Creek, and I wanted to grow this last year and then didn't start the seeds and just didn't get around to it, and so I'm really excited to be starting this now. And I'm just following the instructions on the seed package because I don't have experience with this. These are tiny, tiny seeds, and so it suggests to surface sow them and just press them into the soil. And that's what I'm doing. So like a good general rule for seeds that you are starting, if you don't know how to plant them, is that you plant them twice as deep as they are wide. So if you've got like a bean, it's gonna go like this deep. Or if you've got, you know, a piece of corn, a corn seed, it's gonna go that deep, just twice as deep as it is wide, which is a really good rule of thumb in case you feel nervous about these things. One of the big reasons why your seeds may fail whenever you're starting seeds is that you plant them too deep, because that little seed only has enough energy to make it to the surface whenever it comes out of that seed casing. And so if you plant them super deep, they run out of energy before they get to the surface, which is, I think, one of the reasons why people have such a hard time sometimes with like lettuce seeds or carrots. Potentially celery, I would assume, can be difficult for people, because if you're putting it really deep and it's a tiny seed, it's barely supposed to be pressed into the surface of the soil. It's dying in the soil. It's not able to get to the surface where it can make more energy, and it runs out and it dies. So I am doing what it says. I'm going to press it in, which means that it's just barely even covered. It's just pressed down into the soil. And hopefully we have luck with this. I have sewed these a little thicker than necessary, so I'll have to thin them out some, but I figured I would rather err on that side of things rather than going really sparse and then potentially not having great germination. Another thing that I always do when I'm dealing with really small seeds like this is I'll always bottom water. So I've got these trays here. I get these from Haas. My other ones are from Bootstrap Farmer, but no matter what seed starting situation I'm doing, I like to have a tray underneath. So I've got this tray with the soil and the seeds in it, and it's sitting in this one. And that way I can come and pour the water into the bottom, and where I'm dealing with these really small seeds, I don't have to worry about those getting pushed down too deep or misplaced, because they're going to soak the water up from the bottom and those seeds aren't going to get dislodged. And I've actually already got this soil quite damp, so it doesn't really need anything right now. I'm just going to keep an eye on it over the next couple days to make sure it stays that way. Another thing that I actually get asked a lot is if you can start carrot seeds inside. Someone may be able to contribute and share their experience with starting carrot seeds. I do not do that, and I do not suggest doing that. Carrots are tap roots. Oh, you got that long root that goes down, one long main root, and they really don't like to be transplanted. And I'm actually like a total rebel when it comes to stuff like that. When people say don't ever transplant this thing, I totally do it anyway. So when I'm telling you these really don't like to be transplanted, it's because I have tried it. I have tried to move them, and you can get a carrot to grow that you have moved, but it isn't going to grow as fast as one that's left alone, because whenever you move this plant, you're pulling that taproot out, and all those little hair roots that grow off of it are obviously going to get ripped up, and it's going to have to start fresh with those. So it's just not a great thing to do. And carrots are pretty slow going anyway, so starting them from seed inside, I don't think that there's a lot of benefit in that. However, I will tell you that starting a lot of other root vegetables like beets and rutabagas and kohlrabis, which I guess technically not a root vegetable, but kind of the same growing pattern, those do really well. You can start those and move them. I learned that and started last year doing Charles Dowding's multi-sowing method, where you start like 3 beets in a container and then move them all out together, and they grow in a cluster, and that has worked really well for me. But carrots, not so much. It is interesting the difference between outside and inside this glass greenhouse. You know, we built this greenhouse, it's been 2 years ago now that Maya built it. And if you're new here and you haven't seen that process, he did share that process in videos, and it's very sweet. He did such a great job on building this. But I've been, getting a lot of questions about it again now that it's coming back into the season where we use it a lot. And right now, I do keep a little heater out here. I have not turned it on yet this year. Obviously, I'm just now starting stuff. But I usually don't need it. On a sunny day, like right now, it's about 40 outside and it's 80 in here. So that's a pretty massive difference, but it's sunny. On an overcast day, it's not like that. On an overcast day, a lot of times it's barely warmer in here than it is outside. The main thing I ever turn a heater on for is when I have frost tender things growing, like once my tomato plants are started and my peppers, and we're gonna have a really cold night. I'll come out here in the afternoon, especially if it's been overcast, and kick the heater on just to keep it a little bit warmer in here. I don't have to do a lot of supplemental heat. If I did, it probably wouldn't be super feasible to use it, but it's good for just getting us through a cold night. I've had a few people ask me what my plans are, like with my other greenhouse, because we have our original greenhouse, and I don't know if I'm going to end up using that one this year, because I'm not starting plants to sell. I'm only starting plants for my own use, and I think this greenhouse may be enough. If I feel like we need it, we can clean it out and reset it, but I don't think that we're going to. I've been tucking some seeds here and there in this garden, and I was noticing, I was down here looking before I went into the greenhouse, and I saw what I thought was, now I can't find it. I have some walking onions here that I suspect will be popping up here soon, and I thought I saw a little green shoot, but now I don't know where it went. Walk time?
Walkity walk.
It's kind of windy out here. I'm using our little camera, not my usual big camera, because mine I felt like it would be too strenuous for me to carry that big camera.
Just trying to be nice.
It was sweet. It is now evening. I started seeds earlier today, and my kids were hollering for me, and I left the greenhouse and didn't make it back down there. Shall we go talk to the goatee girls?
Yeah.
Some of them are looking real wide. Hey guys! Hey Gabe! Hey girl! Hey Winona! Yeah, look how much her udder's rounding out. And Clover. Girl's looking wide.
Nestle's rubbing on the knee.
Look, huh? What?
Nestle's rubbing on
Dot?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, they've bonded. They're friends now. Oh look, she's loving on Beatrice too.
Is that an udder on her?
Who? On her? Yeah, she's definitely getting an udder. She's getting an udder.
So they are.
All the La Manchas look look pretty bred.
More confident with the
Yeah, La Mancha buck.
La Mancha buck system.
Hey, girly. Hey. Hey, you know what? I was looking on my phone, and we've had Winona Faye for a year now. Gabriel! I think he was like, are you a good boy? Okay. Okay.
That's just going to encourage him.
I came out yesterday. I was not as well yesterday as I am today, and I just walked back to the high tunnel. Yeah, I didn't get very far. I'm definitely feeling a lot better today. Oh, it's also such a nice evening.
It's not too cold.
No, it's nice. Nice and
I
warm.
wouldn't say it's warm, but
Warmish. Oh, Magdalene. Look how big she is. Look how wide and low her belly is. She is definitely good and pregnant.
yeah, she's starting to happen a little bit.
She's getting an udder, yeah. Aren't you, Maggie? Hey, birds. Look, one of them's out. I'm gonna go in here, okay? Should have brought those seeds back here. Oh well, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm definitely feeling a lot better, but I'm still like, oh, they're all the way up there at the front. That's a long walk. Hey, Big Mama. Hey, Doris. You want to go see Doris's babies? Hey, guys. I gave them some of my rutabagas. I feel like they're growing really fast, but they're not having to compete very much for any milk. We still have some of the other baby pigs to get rid of, and then these three guys, we're going to be just selling them all as feeders. We're not keeping any of these babies to grow out because we've shared pretty openly throughout the process of this, but we've known for a while now that we were going to be moving to a different property, and we're thinking we'll probably be here through the remainder of this year, but mangalitas take 18 months to raise out, and we've decided not to retain any of these babies because we would be looking at having more big animals to move. So we will probably breed them one more time while we are here. And then that way we'll have some piglets that we can move with us. But obviously bigger animals, it's just more work when it comes to moving. And so yeah, we're not gonna keep any of these guys. Such a happy space, huh?
Gonna be eating Brussels sprouts tomorrow.
Yeah, Maya is happy. We finally put Brussels sprouts on our meal plan. You can see here, they're big enough now. Some of them are still small, but we're gonna go ahead and start harvesting because some of them are big enough to harvest. Ooh, Maya, something's been chewing on that one. Did they trip your traps?
I tripped some of them.
Well, it's a good thing we have a lot of Brussels sprouts. Right, sweet Maya?
Yeah, I'll make sure I get the traps reset.
We've had to battle rodents out here in the high tunnel this winter. And I've not really dealt with rodents in the garden very much, but for a long time I had cats outside, and I don't have any cats outside now. But being winter, obviously there's not as much for them to eat elsewhere. And so they've been coming out here, and we've just had to set traps, which is kind of gross, but it is what it is.
Pretty soon it'll be time to reset the whole thing.
Yep. Yeah, I've been noticing, I mean, we have a lot of spaces to clean out where we've already harvested everything. All of those on this, hey baby, all of those on the outside, those are all Brussels sprouts. Like the next round.
Are we gonna plant any more cabbages? I do like,
yes, I didn't actually start any. I started some of the Chinese cabbages today in the greenhouse, but I'll start some more other cabbages too.
Or if you're bougie, you can say cabbage.
I don't think anybody says that. All of these are cauliflowers. Well, Maya is actually going to go grab some feed, and I'm going to head back inside because in the nature of not overdoing it, I'm starting to notice things that I want to mess with in the high tunnel being out there, and I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go back in the house, put on comfy pants, and call it a day. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today, and for all of your prayers and well wishes for my recovery. We just love getting to share with y'all. God bless you. Until next time.